Hi there and welcome.
You're listening to Animals and Us, Voices of a New Paradigm.
My name is Avantika, and I'm a researcher exploring animal consciousness, environmental sustainability, and planetary health. I want to help bring animal perspectives to the table and transform our relationship with the natural world.
And I'm Barbara. I'm an animal communicator and retired veterinarian. My true passion is exploring the hearts and souls of animals and helping people come to a much deeper understanding of who the animals truly are at their core.
This podcast is for anyone who loves animals and nature and has an interest in their own personal and spiritual development. We'll bring you powerful conversations with fascinating people about animal and nature sentience, consciousness, and communication.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey of love, respect, understanding, and care for the fellow beings who share our beautiful Mother Earth with us. Welcome, everyone, to Animals and Us, Voices of a New Paradigm. And today I am so excited to introduce you to an amazing woman. Her name is Mickey Jacobs. And she is an internationally acclaimed medium, speaker, and author whose life's journey has been quite incredible. She started with a conservative Jewish background and then went into the Israeli army for several years. Later, she came to the US and established a successful business. And all these varied experiences have led her to discover a path of spirituality and have profoundly influenced her on her spiritual path. And of course, working with animals. Using her ability to connect with the spirit world, she's conducted thousands of readings around the world, and through channeling and lectures and readings, and her first book called Soul Secrets, Mickey has presented the teachings of spirit to people around the world. Along with her husband, Clayton, who's quite an incredible guy. We have met him. He's like her manager. He's wonderful. Mickey has devoted 2 decades to the noble cause of rescuing animals on their Southern California ranch. And they have quite an assortment of amazing animals there. It is this profound love for her animals and her spiritual work that have inspired her to write her latest book, which is called Sacred Wild, The Spiritual World of Animals, including pets, and its interconnectedness with ours. So welcome, Mickey. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me on and for the lovely introduction, Barbara. Thank you so much.
So, Mickey, we've all just heard this really interesting bio of yours, which has so many different parts to it, different phases of your life it seems like you went through. Tell us what led you to this path of spirituality and understanding spirituality with animals and working with animals specifically.
Yeah. So in regard to my transition into the spiritual path, so it's important to me to bring up my upbringing because I grew up in a conservative Jewish home. I still have elderly parents and siblings in Israel. So my father is Orthodox Jewish and my mom. So I grew up in the beliefs of the Judaism. So that was my way of living. At the age of 18, I joined the Israeli army. As all of us, this is not a volunteer like it is here in the United States. You have to serve. Usually women serve 2 years, men serve 3 years, and I served 5 years. I signed for 3 more years, and I was a sergeant. I was a shooting instructor, so that was my army experience. Then I left Israel to the United States. Obviously, looking back, that was very much meant to be part of my path. I came here and I opened a glass company for many years with now ex-husband. So we did stores and we did auto glass and we did glazing, which refer to glass for hotels. So we were there many, many years. I was still practicing Judaism when I came here, quite strongly, I would say. But then things kind of started to shift a little bit when obviously in Israel, then you interact with, with only the religion of Judaism because this is really Israel. And when I came here and obviously exposed myself to other people, other religion, um, it started kind of religion not to really make sense to me in a way that what Judaism feel, other religions felt different, and it was a little bit confusing to me. So it's kind of pushed me or kind of start forward into the spiritual world. It's completely foreign to me. I didn't know about spirituality, and it just kind of what shifted me into it because spirituality felt to me a little bit more welcoming, a little bit more general, a little bit more soft, meaning the focus of spirituality is that the kindness and of course God is energy. When I grew up in Judaism, really, I imagined God to be a male figure that looked like Moses with a beard and a cane. I was afraid of God. If I don't follow the Judaism religion, which I believe sometimes this is the core of every religion practice, it's a little bit more rules and regulation, and my personal belief that a lot of it is written by human beings. So spirituality, I start study about it, about God as energy that is in everything, in everyone. So I start gathering more and more knowledge. Then I start learning a little bit more of the soul, and it's awaken again, looking in hindsight, this is awaken my soul path, and I become more and more engaged into it. I was still working in my business, so I did it in my part-time, and this is why I teach people that transition is a process. You don't leave one thing and move to another. It's designed to be kind of soft, and beside you, we obviously need money, so I needed to continue to work. So I did still function in my business. And then I was attracted to energy healing, and I became, alongside Clayton, actually, we both became Reiki masters, which is the Japanese healing technique. And we start applying our energy healing to animals in shelters and animals in need. And then I kind of switch into energy healing to people. So that's kind of a direction where kind of brought me forward a little bit more into spirituality. And I have to say that at that time, when the process started, I felt foreign in my business world. It didn't belong to me anymore. I felt that it's not for me. The money didn't matter. I remember back then we had a lot of contracts to do with big hotels and all kind of and airports and to do the glass there and the skylight. And I just feel don't belong. The more I turn into spirituality, the more it didn't belong. Obviously, the language I use now, the spiritual language, is that the soul within the body pushed me more and more towards my spiritual path. So interestingly, looking back, is that the universe also caused my business to fail. So one said aspect of that is that my partner at the age of 42 died. So that's already crumbled the business. Nothing seemed to work. Contract didn't go right, meaning the transition meant to happen, and the success of the business failed and failed and failed or went backward until it's really closed its door. Once it's closed the door, I was able to fully engage in spirituality, and from the energy healing, the more I improve my ability to meditate, to be able to quiet the mind, to be able to hear spirit, they start talking. Of course, they always talk, it's just we don't listen. So they start talking, I start hearing them, and then I turn into document what they were telling me through automatic writing. Of course, the more quiet the mind, the more effective the automatic writing, to where I got hundreds of channeling, because the more I did not do reading yet, I did not engage into with people, meaning the mediumship business did not open. I didn't call, there was no clients. I did it. I improved it. I was just a stubborn girl. I mean, I have books and books of channeling that I did through automatic writing from the spirit world. Then, once I was ready, once the universe aware that we are ready, then doors start open up. And that is when I got the first client and the second client. I mean, I'm talking here probably about 18 years now. So that was 18 years back. And then essentially that's what I opened the business. I start giving reading. The more comfortable I become, the more accurate the readings were, the more complex they were. I didn't jump to a complex reading. There was not that much mediumship, meaning departed loved one, but it's got better and better and better as I cooperate with spirit. And then now I do the reading and the teaching, and then the writing of the books came a little bit later. The first book was probably about 7, 8 years ago, and of course, Sacred Wild is brand new. So basically, that is my transition.
Amazing. Wow. I love hearing stories about how people transition into this work because I don't think anyone is really born or brought up like seeking this, or it's very rare, to grow up and from a young age wanting to be in this world. And then as we get older, and life happens, and like you mentioned, your soul was taking you on a journey, it seems, and forcing certain transitions to happen because maybe you were ready or it's what you wanted. So I love hearing all of that. And tell us then how the animals came into the picture. So I know you've had profound love for animals from a young age, but through your work and as you were going through this journey, how did you gravitate towards working with animals and writing about animals as well?
Course. Thank you, Avantika. Yeah, animals were always there. It was very obvious that I came to this incarnation with the great, immense love to animals, where I just exceed. It's really, it's undescribable, the love I have to animals. Of course, I don't mean just pet. And so they were always there. I even shared that with my book, that when I was young and I would see stray dogs and I would bring them home and hide them in the closet. until, until my parents would find it. Then I'll take it home because it's an apartment building. I take it home and hide them in the back of the back of the apartment, until the neighbor found it. And yeah, so always very much wanted horses. Of course, Israel kind of lacks space. So I would go into people with horses and asking my father to give him benefits from, I was maybe start the age of 11 or so till maybe 14, 15. I asked him to take me to ranch, but not for the riding experience. Even if there was riding, I remember just touching the mane of the horse and just talking to them. I mean, actually, we rescue horses. We have 5 rescue horses, and I don't ride them. So riding was never the thing. I just really, Avantika, truly and authentically love animals. And the downside of it, because everything is energy, it's becoming so incredibly sensitive. The older I get, the more sensitive I become with animals, to where I cannot kill anything. And I mean nothing. I cannot sweep ants, nothing. So it's really hard for me to look at TV and program and commercial and even silly Hollywood movies where Clayton always said they're not real animals. I say, I don't care. So yeah, I'm super sensitive about animals and becoming sensitive, let alone my animals. We have 18 animals here, so let alone with our kids. But as for the writing, I wanted to write Sacred Wild before my first book, Soul Secret, and the advice of my guides is to actually write Soul Secret first, which cover the concept of a team, which is group of spirit that accompany us on planet Earth. So I did that, and then continue to obviously rescue animals. We do that for 28 years, Clayton and I. And then, so the love for the animals continue. I channel a lot of information, again, through the unbelievable effective of automatic writing. It's an ancient technique, easy to use. Obviously, you need to be receptive and open. So I got a lot of channeling that I use in Sacred Wild from spirit about animals, about pet, about our interconnectedness. And also, I documented information from pets that come forward over the years from readings, from owners of pets that met the pets in the spirit world. So Sacred Wild is mixed with research, obviously, as well, my experience all those years with animals, and certainly various way of channeling. So really that's how I got to that.
Amazing. Well, in your book, and as we've talked about before, you've said that you see animals as our equals, which I think Barbara and I completely agree with 100%. And I think this may have to do with the soul of animals, the soul of humans. So I would love if you could tell us a little bit more about why you believe that and how, and tell us a little bit more about the word soul and what it means to you.
Course. Thank you, Avantika. Super important. So a soul refers to a fragment, extension, or a little tiny part of the Creator. So all soul within all living being, including chi within all nature, trees and flowers and all that, are all a part of the Creator, which make us interconnected with the Creator. Now, how is that has to do with being equal to them? Because they have a soul, all animals, and we have a soul, all human beings. So that makes us equal in regard to that we both divine, we have the divine part of God within us. The soul is powerful, the soul is immortal, the soul is multidimensional to a lesser degree of the beautiful creator. So animals are not different. How are they different then? Within Mickey, there is a soul. Avantika and Barbara have a soul. So is my 18 animals have a soul. How is that different? The only difference there is that what souls are doing in regard to within the body is the soul uses the form to express its God-like essence. The more a soul is able to express its God-like essence through the form, whether a form of a human being or a form of an animal, the soul grow and expand. What does that mean? It's able to be more like God. And when a soul expand and grow through life on planet Earth, through the form, because we interconnected with the Creator experience that growth. So it's like all one big growth. So the only difference is a soul of a human being express its God-like essence, or I would use the phrase manifest its God-like essence through a human beings, and a soul of an animal through an animal form. Now, obviously, human beings are one species, so a soul would experience through different form, and a soul of an animal, different species, whether pets, wild animals. So in that respect, there is no different. So to disrespect an animal, to think they are secondary to us, is an insult to God because they are part of Him.
You speak about soulmates and soul contracts in your book.
Yes.
What does that mean? And how does that all work?
Sure. So I'll talk about humans and then you can apply it because the same concept, there is some differences here. So we enter planet Earth when we plan a new incarnation. We plan it with all the significant souls that will be involved in the incarnation. So meaning immediate family, obviously, life partner, obviously, best friends, so it doesn't have to be, so those called essentially soulmates is the souls that incarnate with us with a significant purpose, which why I brought up the immediate family. So the childhood that we experience, the dynamic we have within the family of the immediate family, the differences, all designed by the souls, All the souls involve or significant partners, all designed by the soul prior to the soul incarnate and occupying a form. So within all souls that are meant to be within each incarnation, you will be my parents this life because I was your parents another life, you will be my sibling. We actually sit around the tables with all the souls that will involve in a specific incarnation and create what we refer to as soul contracts. So soul contracts are divine contract or agreement among the soul, and within the soul contract are the detail of the dynamic of the incarnation. Doesn't mean detail what we're going to get up and eat in the morning. It's mean what each soul try to accomplish of this incarnation. I need to grow to learn how to express more love, to learn how to, overcome weaknesses, to learn how to be a little bit more loving to other human beings, to learn how to appreciate mom and dad, to learn how to express love to a child. Those are good things. Of course, in the soul contracts also include weaknesses that the souls were unable to overcome from previous lives. So all the weaknesses from previous lives we include in current incarnation. We can know that, we can be aware of it by being mindful of the repeat weaknesses that coming our way. And weaknesses that we are unable to overcome, let's say rage, jealousy, usually it started from a young age. So this is indeed an indication that our soul were unable to overcome it from previous life, and therefore it stand on the way of the soul expansion and growth. So we bring weaknesses to this incarnation. So each soul bring the differences, the weaknesses, and what they need to learn and how we need to teach each other. So soul contracts are very much designed to kind of project how the interaction, how the dynamic would be in the upcoming incarnation. Also, important thing to know about soul's growth, it's never one-sided. I'll teach you that, you teach me that, I'll teach you that, you teach me that. That's not selfish, it's selfless. It's a rule among souls that we all kind of help each other and then we climb up. So the same thing, we have soul contract with souls of animals. Usually that would be with souls of pets. So pets refer to souls that incarnate into planet Earth for the sake of have a close relationship and interaction with human beings. Souls of wild animals have their own purpose, own mission, completely different. So souls of pets that are very significant in our life, they have significant mission as we have in theirs. Remember, it's mutual. So we have soul contract in certain animals. So here, the animals that we have, I have a soul contract with them. The soul have a soul contract with me. There is certain agreement as to how a pet can help Mickey to grow and expand, how a pet can help Mickey to balance certain negativity that we brought up from previous lives. And Mickey's soul in the body, have a responsibility to honor the soul contract with the pets I have here. How do you honor it? By honor the animal. You know what they need. You accept the love. You learn from their life. You provide them with things to make them survive and thrive. So same thing, soul contracts, our soul contract, certainly an agreement. Now, one more thing regard about soulmates. To pets, I call it just a phrase, I call them soulmates pets. And of course, we have soulmates, which those are souls that we kind of enjoy incarnating to planet Earth together. Maybe I use the phrase enjoy. We incarnate with certain souls again and again and again. And sometimes, repeat souls don't come together. Sometimes some souls remain in the spirit world. They're like, you enter planet Earth, I'll be in the spirit world in order to guide you. But there is indeed soulmates. A lot of people think that soulmate, because this is kind of a word on planet Earth, Mickey, where's my soulmate? They refer to intimate lover. No, of course not. So soulmate, again, those are souls in which we have a very, very powerful connection, very powerful bond, because we continue to enter with them. So people ask, can I detect a soulmate? Yes. Is it necessary? No, you don't meant to know who's your soulmate. It doesn't matter who is our soulmates. All the people, once again, in our life are meant to be their childhood, immediate family, friends, people that make a difference. If you look at those relationships, you realize you are today because of them, as they are because of you, even if the relationship was kind of up and down, as usually it is. But you can kind of detect soulmate, whether it is in pets or animals, because the bond is undeniable. When people have more than one child, and they said, I adore my three kids, but one of them, it's just I have a connection. There is a strong bond, or I can't be without. I need to hear their voice. I need to see them. Same with pets. I mean, obviously, as you can see, I'm a crazy animal mom, but there is some that it's just strong bonds. Like my new, we just rescue a new sulcata tortoise, and those are really giant. He's like 200 pounds, and he came to us in a really, really, soulmates often come in a magical way, whether it is they fell on our lap, whether it is a partner that you meet. I didn't expect that, so Bronson, our tortoise, came to me that way, came to us that way, and when I saw him, guys, it was so obvious that I had previous incarnation with him. The love was so immense. Obviously, all those animals, we rescue so many animals, Clayton and I, almost 30 years. But this one was like, I remembered him. I remember Bronson. It was so obvious as to the phrase soulmate pets. I have the same thing with one of my cats, Rocco. Of course, I love all of them, but the bond I have with Rocco is unbelievable. I mean, it's like it's pure bliss. Honor all the people in your life. Certainly honor all the animals in your life. They're significant, they're important, they're valued. And frankly, you signed a contract with them. A divine contract of agreement. So that's basically, I hope I answer the soulmates concept.
Yeah, it's all very interesting, isn't it? It really is how they come into our lives and we come into their lives. And sometimes it's kind of miraculous what happens.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, it
yeah.
really, Barbara.
I'd like to talk to you just for a minute about how do we help one another, meaning humans and animals, whether domestic or wild. How do we help one another with our individual soul missions? Because we certainly do. We're part of one another's lives. It's
Oh,
probably
very
no
much.
different from
Yes,
humans with humans,
yes,
that we all have our particular mission, and we're here to
yes.
share those missions and help one another. Yeah.
Yes. So first is to be open to the concept that they're not just here because they look pretty. They're here because they have a major mission. So it's very simple, I believe, Barbara, is start with the way, with the two main words of honor and respect. We have to not know that. We have so honor and respect in regard to our pets, also respect who they are, and help them by learning, help them. I mean, there's so many people that come to me and they say that I'm a completely different person before having pets. I didn't grow up with pets, didn't believe it. Then there is a pet came to me. Learn. Shy people become open people. Autistic kids become better. Human beings see their love. Beautiful. So again, if you look for their mission, what it is you frankly keep them healthy and happy to be able to contribute that. And by us learning from them, that is the exchange within the soul. You're going to teach me that, and I'm going to teach you that. Because how what a heartwarming it is when a soul come in reading and say, I left planet Earth with the love of my family. It's absolutely, which by the way, I hear that from departed loved one, really, because that's all we take with us, nothing else, obviously. I mean, the love is what we take with us, but the proud of a soul and the I can't put it in words. The joy when a soul came, I was loved from my immediate family. They learned from me because obviously, in hindsight, from the spirit world, we're able to see and examine all the relationship. So, I taught my family. I mean, the way they rescue me, the way they treated me. So, it's the mission is that honor the mission by honoring them. Obviously, let wild animal be, don't harm them, just be kind, just be nice, just really believe that they are there for a reason. And once again, go back to our initial topic, is that they are not different than us, same thing. So meaning we are necessary to the planet as well. So in that respect, it just you honor by the mission by understanding how actually review your life, your view your day-to-day life, how they really help us become different people. And I'm not even talking about the common sense. When people have a dog, they more likely to go out and run with them or walk with them. I mean, even the day to day, people tell me that their kids learn responsibility to love another being. So a kids, what that was selfish. So even the little bit that we never think, force yourself to think the absolute major influence that pets have in our lives. So you return it back by honoring it, learn from them, give them love. Remember, their main mission in our life, pets, is to exchange love, to teach us. The one thing that they have and we don't is the absolute no doubt or interfering with the unconditional love. Their love is pure, and I don't believe that human being master that yet.
Thank you, Mickey.
My pleasure, of
We've
course.
got a lot to learn from one another, don't we?
Yes, I love that. I love that.
So, so this has been great. And we've spoken about your book, we've spoken about animals and soul contracts. Is there anything else you feel like you want to add before we close?
It's important to me, among obviously honor all animals for the reasons we discuss, is that losing a pet is an unbelievable traumatic experience. I truly believe that the level of pain is equal to people. I really truly believe that. So your pets are not the end departed loved one. We don't die. At the time of death, the soul exit the physical body from the crown chakra, travel to the spirit world, and that's when the fun really begins. Because we go back to being our own multidimensional self. It's heartache for me to see the grief when people lose an animals, but again, it's looking at your life, your personal life, your interaction with pets, looking at challenges with the ultimate of challenge of losing a loved one, again, pet or human, is to know that it's merely transition. This is not a cliche phrase, very much true. It's a transition, believe in it. We have great amount of help when we do transition, spirit, souls of animals and human that accompany us. So when they exit the physical body, it's natural, it's a delightful transition. They're not dead. They're there. They will accompany you after their passing. They will send you signs. So grow, be open for sign, get knowledge about sign, be mindful of sign. Don't be close to sign. They're not dead. They're right there. And in many years, when you go back home to the spirit world, among other spirits, your pets will greet you back.
Yes, it's true. What I've learned from the animals, kind of like what you're saying, is when they die and you talk to them after their body has expired, what they tell me is the only thing that matters to them is the love they were received. People
Mm.
people get so upset because they didn't do enough, or they did too much, or they euthanized them too soon, or waited too long, or what, and they had this miserable experience before they died. The animals just tell me that all that matters is the love they received. There's so much to talk
Thank
about. We
you.
could go on, and you have a lot of that in your book. I want to read something to close this from your book that I
Thank
thought was
you.
very sweet. You said, because our pets' souls are wise and loving, they harbor no animosity or resentment towards us, despite any disappointments or challenges we may have caused them. The soul's boundless capacity for love remains undiminished and everlasting, extending beyond the confines of physical existence. I think that's
Oh,
beautiful, and it
thank
kind of
you,
sums
honey.
up what you've been talking about. I think it's just that
Thank
we
you.
are all equal. We are all about love. We have divine souls, and the souls go on despite what the physical body is doing.
Right.
And so I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mickey.
My pleasure.
This conversation has been wonderful, talking about all kinds of things that I'm always really interested in. I think a big takeaway for me, and I hope for people listening, is that there is so much more beyond, the wonderful companionship we get from animals, from their cuteness and how adorable they are, and all of these things. There's all of that, of course, but there's just so much more beyond that, beyond the surface, um, as to who they are, where they come from, why they're here, and acknowledging that there's a lot that we don't know. But if we're curious, if we're open-minded, and if we want to learn, then we can ask questions and we can learn, and we can receive that information from them and from the spirit world, to better understand our relationships with them. So thank you for talking about so many interesting things today
Oh,
with
pleasure.
us.
My pleasure. What a delightful experience for me. Thank you for giving me the stage. Love the energy. You two are just delightful. Thank you so much for having
Thank you.
me. Really. Thank you.
And where can people find you, Mickey?
So everything is really on the website. So it's maijacobs.com. So we send periodically newsletters for, upcoming interviews and stuff, events. I do angel chat, as I call it, which is just teachings, 10, 15 minutes about various spiritual topics as well as the book. I'm on Facebook and Medium, Mickey Jacobs, so some social media. I put my animals there like a proud mom. So, what, honey? YouTube. Oh, here's Clayton. YouTube.
Oh,
So,
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And we'll put some of that on the page where you
Lovely.
can be found. So thank you so much, Mickey. It's been
My
delightful being with you.
pleasure.
And now we're going to have a blessing for the animals. We'd like to end this podcast by taking just a moment to be quiet. And we give thanks and blessings to these amazing animals that we share our lives with. They give us so much and ask for so little in return. We hope that you can keep the animals and all living beings in your heart and in your mind as you go about your day. Thank you so much for being here with us today.